We are MythVision. Welcome back to MythVision Podcast. We're taking a deep look at the Church of Scientology. Today, Karen de la Carriere is going to expose more of its dirt like you haven't heard anywhere else. And this is not an exaggeration. Some of the stuff that you told me in this last episode blows my mind. And you said, Derek, I have 3 stories to tell you. And I'm like, this is one? Oh my gosh. I'm all here, all ears for you. Karen, by the way, for those of you who don't know, she was a top on the ship with L. Ron Hubbard. I mean, we're talking, she knows it all when it comes to Scientology. She knows it all. Karen, please educate us on these crazy stories.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This story is sort of poignant, and for all women that watch it, I don't know what you're going to feel. When a horrific incident happens within the walls of the Sea Org, it is absolutely forbidden to report to law enforcement. In fact, it's considered a suppressive act. They will name you an antisocial personality for going to report something to law enforcement.
And for those who you don't know, antisocial personality is technically, how would you put that?
Well, antisocial means you're criminal.
You're a criminal.
A criminal. Suppressive person in Scientology means they deem you to be criminal.
Okay.
Criminal.
Just want our audience to follow.
Not a normal human being. You are criminal. And speaking out about Scientology makes you criminal. In their definition, you see, there's a propaganda by changing the definition of the word.
So am I a felon in this already? Okay.
You are.
Awesome.
So this story is about a beautiful young girl called Numi. Was a Sea Org member and just a lovely girl. She looked like a little Disney princess. She was just a sweet, lovable girl who was the wife of the commanding officer of INCOM. INCOM is an abbreviation of the division of the church that handled all the computers. Computers was a separate division. And the guy who was the head commanding officer's name was Chuck Frenner. One day, out of the blue sky, Chuck Frenner lost it. And he savagely went for throat to strangle her in public. In public meaning within the walls of the Sea organization.
Right.
And he was incredibly violent. They say one madman has the strength of 10 normal men. So something happens with the adrenaline or whatever. When Sea Org members lunged forward to get him off Numi, it was terrifying. This was seeing a homicide in real time. They couldn't even pull him off. And he continued to strangle her. There is a point where consciousness is lost in such a, I'm not in medicine, I don't know, some artery, whatever. Anyway, he was strangling her, his wife of a few years. Eventually, they pulled him off. Do you think they reported this to LAPD? This was attempted homicide, no question. No ifs or buts. He had the intention to kill her. So it's electrifying within
Wow.
her. It's electrifying because they promote how they're going to take you higher And once you belong to their technology and their procedures and their routines, you become better. You become more ethical, more moral, more enlightened, more. And here's a CO member of some years lunging forward to kill. This is the kind of thing they have to hide, because they're selling and taking big bucks. Promising the reverse of this. They would never make you a killer. They'd make you so ethical and so conscientious. You wouldn't dream of harming a fellow man.
Right. How did you find this information out, if you don't mind me asking?
It spread like wildfire. It was. I was right there in Big Blue while this was happening. I was in the structure. I didn't eyewitness it, but I was right there.
Okay.
So quickly, these two are booted off. The first thing Scientology does in a horrible act is get them out of jurisdiction so they can't be questioned. And Chuck is sent to Florida. He is a very high-tech, the reason he was commanding officer of Incom, the computer division, he's very, very good with computers. And they get him some high-tech job in Florida. Get him out of Los Angeles, out of California. This part of the story, nobody knows.
I'm excited.
They were worried that he would talk.
That he would?
Yes, that he would cause waves. Who knows what he was telling them? He was, this is a loony. You don't grab the neck of your wife to throw you. I mean, it doesn't get you off the hook because you're insane. You can be guilty and insane, both.
Right.
You're guilty of that and you're insane. I don't know what he said, but the cult got hold of and said to you have to go back and live with him. You have to go back and be with him. He needs to come down. And she went back because the cult ordered it and slept in his bed and had sexual intercourse because the cult ordered it. A man who tried to almost kill her.
Wow. So, I mean, that's in and of itself, that is abuse, obviously. To force someone, and there's no, I'm not doing that. You can't say that. You couldn't do it in your position. Just to tell them no, like that wasn't an option. The pressure is on.
Well, this is what I want to discuss with you for a moment or two. The control, the authoritarian, absolute control the cult has on you can take you to a point where you will obey them to go back to the environment of someone who tried to kill you and get into bed and obey cult orders. Derek, you talk to all kinds of people from all kinds of religions. Mm-hmm. Is there any religion? Is there any cult? Is there any group that can have that kind of control that you would go back to your own killer and be a good girl?
Yeah, I don't. Not that would see that publicly and then still do that. No, that is the worst. And the beginning of the first video we did, when I said the biggest cult, I didn't mean in numbers, though I could see I'm glad you corrected it, because technically, yes, you're right. It's a dying cult for this very reason. But what I meant is this is the worst, the biggest, worst example of a cult that I know of in the United States for certain reasons. Now, I might come across the children of God, these sex cults that have the most deviant sexual acts, and I just don't know it yet. I'm sure we'll get there. But this is, in terms of having influence and potential political power and whatnot, this is one of those, like, how is this still around? I can't believe that. So by any chance, skipping a tad bit into her and him, what happened to him and her? Did we hear anything else from them, or was everyone completely silent and cut them off from the rest of the world? Or
they both drifted off, deciding better to not revisit. Was done with all of science. She complied. She was a good girl. She did what the cult asked of her. But the horror of being given an order to return to her murderer or would-be murderer was not lost on her.
Yeah.
Was done with all of it.
Did she get out?
Oh, yeah. Well, she was kicked out. Once this happened, both of them were absolutely removed. This was too dirty. This was too painful. This was, you see, the cult crave. Derek, they crave good PR. They want good public relations.
Yeah.
They want to be thought of as this safe island of the safe sanctuary of goodness. They crave that image. That they are the saviors of planet Earth. This is the image they crave. It's completely lunatic. So anyway, Numi is gone, Chuck is gone. Only all of us who are around at that time know very well how the cult did absolutely nothing to report this to the Church of Scientology, to LAPD. Absolutely nothing to report it to LAPD or any law enforcement. Although Chuck attempted homicide.
Do what? Attempted homicide? Yeah.
Attempted homicide.
Yeah. And they just rushed it under the rug. Yeah. Huh.
No, that's only one story of numerous acts of rape, molestation, that the cult never reported to LAPD. All tucked away under wraps. Everybody silenced.
The cult of Scientology is full of Thetans. And they're the ones who need to be purged. You know, so this is unbelievable. I love you taking us deep in. It just makes me imagine how many types of situations similar to this that you aren't even aware of. And that's since you've been out. Like, can you imagine? I can't imagine behind the doors what has happened in so many scenarios. So there's a lot more stories to come from you. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Final touch-ups on this?
The one thing Scientology wants you to believe is their goodness. But when you lift up the curtains and look and see what happened behind the scenes, there are ghastly, horrific stories. And I want to reveal that darker side to you. Derek, we're not, there's something, a million shades of gray. But in the evil that they do, it's black and white.
Oh, wow.
There is no shades of gray.
Ladies and gentlemen, Karen de la Carriere, thank you so much. Like the video. Tell me down in the comment section what you think about this. This is crazy. I seriously think it goes right into the vein of some of the women's rights issues we see in Islam and other things. Like, it's just, it may not be the same exact dilemma, but it is horrible what you're seeing here. So please help support us in any way you can. Down in the description. Karen, see you next time.
Thank you.